Welcome back to Pure Oxygen. Well, another day, another strange twist in the Enron story. As the trials before Congress heat up, America wonders which executives will spill the beans and what new scandalous surprises will be revealed. Here to make dollars and cents of all this are two of our C-SPAN regulars, Deidre Levine and Lisa Pinto. Jennifer Baumgartner is off somewhere, so she'll join us next week. All right, you know what? Every day there's something new. Every day there's something hideous coming out of this whole scandal. Today's Wall Street Journal, let's just talk about this. It says, ex-ruse, workers at Enron say they posed as busy traders to impress visiting analysts. Let me just read something for you. Apparently 75 Enron employees were rushed down to the energy services area to act like they were traders to impress a bunch of analysts that were visiting. They were secretaries, other salespeople. We brought some of our personal stuff like pictures to make it look like the area was lived in.
May, this is right out of The Sopranos.
What is that?
I mean, boiler room trading tactics.
No kidding. I mean, it almost makes it seem like this whole company was just a charade.
It's just a facade. It's just this building, this structure, this name under which there was absolutely no substance.
Well, there goes Ken Lay's defense that I really didn't know what was going on. I mean, he after the 60
maybe
people,
I guess he was in a coma the whole time.
He's the one who apparently was responsible for getting some of the folks down there.
Oh, yeah,
and telling
he set
them
up the whole
to
thing.
take the stairs
Put your
so that the
photos up.
analysts wouldn't see them on the elevators.
Okay, here we go. Here, this is the other, the continuation of the article. Apparently, Mr. Lay escorted the analysts through the floor and returned later to tell the employees that they had done a good job.
Right. As they put up
So
their
what-
photos and pretended to be making margin calls on the telephone as the finest of Wall Street analysts paraded through and then went back and dutifully reported, Enron is busy. This stock is a buy.
I mean,
that's
we are
SEC
hearing,
stuff.
exactly, we're hearing so many of these stories coming out, and I mean, to me, it seems like criminal activity.
He is
but I mean,
going down,
is he
May.
going to go down? I mean, all these executives, you know, I mean, they're having these hearings right now. Probably most are going to take the fifth. I mean, what do you think?
Which is really frustrating. It's a really frustrating position to be in, that they're protected by the Constitution. I understand the Fifth Amendment's important and all, but there's got to be a way for us to protect the workers first, instead of just the Fifth Amendment rights of these individuals.
What happened to the champion of civil liberties here, David? We heard more on,
You're backtracking.
What
I
about
know.
the absolute right to remain silent against self-incrimination? No attorney is going to allow Skilling or Lay to testify in
To
front
say
of
anything,
Congress
right?
because they are all they're going to do is build their own coffin, plank by plank. He is facing time in the federal system, and under the federal sentencing guidelines, he is going to do consecutive time.
He
on
meaning Kenneth
Ken
Lay.
Right.
Are we talking about Skilling as well? The
Well,
former
here's
CEO
what
and
I think.
Fastow?
Here's what I think is going to happen. Somebody's got to. The feds have to flip somebody to say who knew what when. And I think Fastow, as much of a creep as he was, with all setting up all these partnerships, hiding the revenue,
And making
cooking the
$30
books.
million before he left. Yeah.
Right, May, but he's the guy who can say, well, Ken Lay knew this. We had a conversation on Wednesday, February 12th, where he said, don't worry about those little schmucks. You know, he's the guy who can say, I sent him a memo. He said, keep
But,
on
you know,
doing what
he's-
you're doing. Skilling is also going down. And I think the question is whether they get prosecuted federally and on the state level. I think
There's another layer here, and the other layer is what the administration knew. And Dick Cheney, for one, knew a whole lot more than he's given over, which is why they've subpoenaed some of the records that happened during the Energy Commission, and we need to get that as well. This is not just a matter of the CEOs and who knew what when from that level. This is a matter of the Republicans and what they knew.
No. Your side has been trying to point the finger at the administration, and nothing is sticking against them. You know, what about
Nothing is sticking? Really?
Global Crossing, the latest bankruptcy? You know, Terry McAuliffe, former chairman of the DNC, made $18 million on that sweetheart deal after he arranged a golf game between Bill Clinton and the Global Crossing
but
people.
I mean,
So,
with Enron and the administration, I mean, the questions are arising because of the influence Enron apparently had on the administration and its energy bill and its all these proposals.
They didn't
and
bail
also
them out, May.
but also the appointment of a couple of staff members on the Bush administration. Recommendations from Lay.
They didn't bail them out.
politics as usual.
And you're right. And the fact that they didn't bail them out is what hurts the workers. But the corporate executives who were making millions of dollars, many of them had already jumped ship. They made their money and they got out. Now we have Ken Lay saying that he's like near bankrupt. His wife going on saying they have no money, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. He's made millions and upon millions of dollars from this, in part because the administration didn't act.
Yeah, but these guys are going to do serious time. This administration is going to prosecute them to the utmost extent
I
of
want
the
to
law.
ask you one question about the administration. Do you think this is definitely going to finally reach into the depths of the administration, or are they going to come off, or is it going to come off clean and this is really just purely a corporate problem?
I think they're not going to come off clean, but I want to add an addendum to that, which is that all parties are involved with this. The contributions go on both sides of the aisle, which I've said before,
Yep.
although 75% of them are for Republicans. But it's the administration who made some of the decisions as to what to do when. So it's that I'm worried about.
And you know what, I want to turn to the legal aspects of this case, because I think what irritates most people about these white-collar criminals is that they seem to get off, really. I mean, they maybe serve time for 2 years in a posh prison where they can have caviar and champagne.
Play golf
and then
and
they
go
get
on furlough.
And what do? They get out, and their money is still in the bank somewhere, or their investments are still safe. Is this going to happen again?
May not this time, because everybody is watching Enron. This is the white-collar debacle of the 21st century. These guys are going to do serious time. They're going to be prosecuted. In the past, 45%, I think, of fraud cases are prosecuted, and only half of those go to jail. So you're right.
Exactly.
It is unequal. But this is different, because when the media is on a case, the prosecutors step up to the plate and make sure that people do all the time. And this isn't going to be pretty. This is going to be real federal jail. They're going to be wiped out with federal fines, and then the lawsuits that follow on the civil side.
So
there's going to be no money
there's
left.
no loopholes that they can try
No.
and use to try and get out of this.
Maybe 1 or 2 guys will testify for the government, and they'll
To
do
get immunity.
a good deal. But yeah.
Well, I hope so. I hope they spent a long time in jail. All right, more She-SPAN when we come back. Don't go away. You're watching Pure Oxygen.